Hello. Did you just say hello? No, I said hello, but close enough. Welcome to Watch It Paint It, guys. In this video we're going to be painting up Hitch, or David Bowie, from the Labyrinth movie, but this time it's a sort of homage in Zombicide, a Green Horde or Black Plague. Can't remember which one it was a Kickstarter exclusive in, but we'll be painting that. Do I know you from somewhere? No, I don't think so. You remind me of the Babe. What Babe? Babe with a power. What power? Power of voodoo. Who do? You do. Do what? Remind me of the Babe. Anyway, guys, we're going to be painting him up as fast as we can. We're going to use a bit of slap chop, and we're going to be using Speed Paint 2.0, a bunch of new colours that you've not seen before, but the primary focus of this paint job is just how fast I can paint this up. Got so many Zombicide miniatures, so for me, painting Zombicide is getting to a point where it's just about how very fast I can do it. I obviously would like the miniatures to look reasonably good, so there'll be a little bit of care in that, but basically, how fast can we get one painted? I'm going to be aiming for 10-15 minutes on this paint job, so bear that in mind as you go through, but do, you know, take a look at A, slap chop with speed paint, and B, the new colours. You won't have seen all these colours, especially used in anger, and there's some that no one's seen yet, so they're coming out in the very near future, so check those out as well. But yeah, let's just go and slap chop some paint on some miniatures. First thing to address here is how I've underpainted this miniature, how I've underpainted Hitch here. I've gone outside, I've taken Army Painter's Colour Primer Uniform Grey and given it a quick prime using that, given it a reasonably mid-ranged grey. Then come inside, got my dry brush, and I've gone over this with Brain Matter Beige, a slightly off creamy white. The reason for that is because he's a human, he's got a skin tone, so I wanted his face and his hair to be sort of warm, that kind of colour. And then after that, I've done a very, very light dry brush just on the very edges of matte white, just to pop out some of the sort of edge highlights for this miniature. Then we're going to actually be on to painting it, and we're going to start with his face using Peachy Flesh, which is one of Army Painter's new Speed Paint 2 colours, and it's just a lighter skin tone to that Crusader skin. We're going to get a small brush. I'm going to use Redgrass Games 00 here, and I'm just going to apply an even, thick, single coat of peach flesh to his face, and that's the only bit of flesh that's showing, so it's not going to take us very long. I'm just going to talk for a minute about absolutely nothing, so you've got time just to see the paint apply. For his trousers, guys, or his pants if you're across the pond, you're going to see it here first. A brand new prototype paint that we at Watch It Paint It developed for the Army Paint.
Surprise, motherfucker!
This will be available in Speed Paint 2, and it's called Rue Morgue? No, that's Zombicide. It's called Rigor Mortis. It was actually designed for Zombicide, sort of as a dead flesh-looking skin tone for painting zombies, but I think it will suit David Bowie's trousers exceptionally well here. So let's get that painted up. We will have to bear in mind this is the old formula. This is Speed Paint 1 formula, so this one can reactivate, so we'll be careful how wet we get it going forwards. It's just something to bear in mind. As with all Speed Paint 1, you can see it as a property, you can see it as an issue. Either way, it can be avoided, and I'm going to just demonstrate we're going to avoid it here. In a little bit, we'll try and use it as a property, and we'll do a little bit of blending using the fact it doesn't dry fully at any point, or using the fact it takes a long time to dry, or even just you can turn it back on later. We'll try and do a little bit of blending with that on the back of his cape. But for now, yeah, just bear that in mind. If you're ever using Speed Paint 1, you don't want to get it wet going forwards with any other additional colours or coats. Just a very, very minor quick break from Speed Paint, and that's just use a little bit of Claymore Blade, a little bit of bright silver on his left shoulder where he's got a little piece of armour which wants to be metallic. It looks kind of black in the reference artwork, so I'm going to do that silver now, and then we're going to apply a black Speed Paint over the top of it and just really, really darken that down and hopefully get it looking a bit like black metal. I was going to do some Speed Paint on his blades later on, but I think as soon as I've got the silver out, I'll just apply a little bit of silver to it anyway, and it'll give it a bit more shine, a bit more of a metallic look by the end of it. So this is just a little bit of bonus metallics. You don't need to do this bit if you're about to use speed paints, metallic speed paints anyway, but this does, it it increases the definition of the metallics. It makes them look shiny. It makes them look a little bit more like metal. So seeing as I was doing it anyway, and I've got the paint on my palette, it's not costing me anything. A little bit of time, but that's not here nor there. So yeah, going to do both his blades as well. Next up, we're going to paint his jacket. Now guys, there are a shed load of new purples available in the Speedpaint 2 range, and some of them are absolutely stunning. Never been a massive fan of Hive Dweller purple, I always find it a little bit too dark, but following the reference artwork, he is wearing a very, very dark purple coat, and I think that's the reason to use Hive Dweller purple here. I'm going to dilute it ever so slightly, thin it down using Speedpaint medium. I think we're going to go sort of 3 drips purple to 1 drip speed medium. Just take a little bit of the edge off of it, make it a little bit more palatable. Give it a little bit more definition between the highlights and the recesses. Don't forget we've underpainted this miniature with grey and white before. I don't know if I explained why, but the greys in the recesses are going to make the contrast a little bit stronger on the speed paints in the recesses, as well as getting a bright white on the edge highlight. And it's just going to pop the edges out that little bit more and give a little bit more of a highlight, make the purple a lot lighter on those parts and give a stronger contrast overall to the miniature. It's Zombicide, the miniatures are very, very small. I want them to pop on the table and be able to sort of enjoy as much detail at range as possible. I'm never that close to these miniatures, and it's a horde based game, so it all looks amazing together as one big giant unit as we're playing. That's it guys, just go round, cover the whole coat in this purple. Now we did the bottom of his jacket very intentionally last and very thick as well, and that's just to keep it wet while I shake up and get ready Grim Black, the black speed paint. I'm going to be putting that on the bottom of the jacket and blending it up, using the reactivation property, using the fact that it's still wet and these blend really, really easy, and just giving a very subtle darkening down, like it looks like in the reference artwork, which might just be light and shadow, but I think it'll add a little bit of more depth to the miniature, make it look a little bit more interesting, and it's just something to do, isn't it? A little bit of a play with technique and effort that you put into a miniature. So yeah, let's get that black applied to the bottom. So while you've got that Grim Black out, we are going to do his gloves, which are black, his boots, which are black. There's 2 of them. He's got 2 hands, 2 feet, and then there's also, as I mentioned, this bit of silver on his shoulder, and I want that to look like black metal, so we'll just do a little bit of Grim Black on that, and hopefully will leave it looking a little bit shiny, metallic looking once it's dried. For his hair, we're going to use a sand golem, and just the same as everything else, just one thick, quick coat, just all the way around. Careful around his face, don't want to make that look too yellow. It's a little bit brighter than possibly his hair in the reference artwork, but I think it's the closest colour we've got, plus it's blonde, plus it'll just pop a little bit more on the table. Stand out, any other colour might be a little bit too close to his trousers, that sort of thing. It's very interesting, it's definitely blonde, isn't it? But yeah, experiment with this, dilute it down a little bit with pallid bone if you want it a bit lighter, something like that. For the silverware, we're going to use Broadsword Silver, which is the new speed paint, the metallic speed paint, the silver one. We're going to apply that around his neck. He's wearing some sort of medallion thing. It's also just going to finish off that little bit around his neck, make it look a little bit more interesting. We're also going to paint both of his blades using this. And then I'm going to take my finger and just like sort of wipe very lightly, quickly as well down the edge of the sword, and because we painted that silver underneath, that's really going to just like give it an edge highlight, pop that out. You can see a straight line down my finger, and that's just going to give a shine, a more realistic finish to both of the blades. We'll do it on both sides, and that's the silver done. This bit's quick. And last but not least is Hoplite Gold, the gold metallic in the Speedpaint 2 range. This is actually probably my favourite of all the metallics. If you want to just try one out, I would pick up this one. Take it for a spin, see how you feel. It is the best one, so if you don't love it, you're probably not going to like the others that much, other than just the colours are subjective. But this has got the best sort of flow and feel to it, in my opinion. Gold's also one of the harder colours to paint, so using this is just, oh, it's such a breeze. But yeah, we've only got his belt buckle to do, and then you're done. And with that, we are completely finished, guys. Hopefully, I did David Bowie some justice there. I think for the 15 minutes I spent painting this, exceptionally fast, really clearing through some of that grey of a very, very large miniature game, Zombicide. And this is just another fantastic addition. You got to see a little bit of slap chop and how that alters and gives it a bit more depth to the contrast. You got to see some of the new colours as well as the metallic speed paint. Now do remember, you are looking at this as closely as anyone will ever see it. Once it's on the table, it looks as good as anything else I've painted. It's just when you get it close to your face, it looks like it took about 15 minutes, which it did. Let us know in the comments, guys, if you'd like to see fast tutorials or more in-depth tutorials showing you how you could paint miniatures to the best of your ability. Personally, I'm going to prefer the fast ones because I've just got too much grey plastic, but everybody is different, and without saying in the comments, we'll never know what you want. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.